Well, the wind has just calmed down slightly, but it's still blooming cold out here this morning. The season's taken a nosedive. It's colder than a penguin's chuff. And that's the thing about the seasons, isn't it? The thing about nature, the thing about the world in general, and nature in particular, it doesn't give a toss about us, does it? It just doesn't give. It's selfish. It doesn't care about us. It will go about its business no matter what we want to do. If we want to go for a picnic in the countryside, if we want to go for a walk on the beach, if we get up in the morning and the sun's shining and we get everything packed and we've got our shorts on and we've got our t-shirts on and everything's good, and then we go outside and we get to the beach and it's pouring down and it's blowing a gale and it's freezing. Well, that's nature, and we put up with it. I got up this morning, looked at my phone, and I always go for like the, you know, when it says it's such and such a temperature, but it feels like, and it's always remarkably lower than what it says. So it said it was going to feel about 2 degrees, 1 to 2 degrees this morning. So I got all wrapped up to bring Molly out. The wind was blowing like mad on the way, and we've got here. The sun's come out, the wind's dropped, the temperature's gone up, and I'm boiling. But that's nature for you. Nature doesn't care about us, and why should we care about nature not caring about us? Because that's what makes it all fun. It blows when it wants, rains when it wants, freezes when it wants, boils when it wants. And look at me, I'm all wrapped up against something that really doesn't care about me and is going to do its own thing. And that's the joy in it, because I've come out and actually I'm loving it. Because the sun's come out now and the sun's coming through the trees above us, all different shades of yellow and green. I can see the sky through the trees and it's a very, very pale blue. It's like that blue where there's this little film of cloud, of mist between you and the sky, and it all looks great. And this is what we should rejoice in, that nature and the weather and everything completely does its own thing without us having any interaction with it at all, and nor should we. The seasons are changing. This morning it was freezing. This afternoon it'll probably rain. For the moment it's fine and I'm loving it. The birds are singing in the trees above me. You can probably hear them. Can you hear that? Molly's behind me, she's keeping up. She woke up in a good mood this morning. Wanted to rush out and hadn't got time for a coffee. It was, come on Dad, we want to get out. So we got out, and I'm glad we did. And this is what you should do. Don't procrastinate. Don't prevaricate. Get up, get out, make the most of it. You might get run over by a bus tomorrow. Who knows? We're quite lucky here, it's very mild. We don't get extremes of temperature at all. We don't get hurricanes or tornadoes or tsunamis or anything like that. But then again, we don't get really hot days and hot spells. It's mild, it's slightly damp. This keeps the rivers full and the grass green and the trees beautiful and green and brown as they are at this time of year. So I'm quite happy with that. I've always been happy with that. I've never been a lying in the sun person. I've always been active. I've always been a walker. I've always been a climber. So I'd have to be cooler, because then It's more comfortable for doing the things I like. And just coming out like this, I always look at it this way. If it gets too hot, there's not a lot you can do. But if it gets cold, you just put another layer on, don't you? There's no such thing as bad weather, just inappropriate clothing, as they say. But there will always be somebody out there looking to tamper with the weather. This is the latest thing, isn't it? And I think it's quite scary and quite alarming that you might have someone or some group of people or somebody wanting to alter the weather for their own agenda. They might say, oh, it's to help countries, the arid, get rainfall so they can grow crops. I'm not really convinced about that, because people in positions of authority aren't usually very altruistic, are they? They're usually very selfish. So we have people on the periphery now, and what will happen in about another 20 years, because we've got the WEF and the WHO sticking their oar in and wanting to dictate and messing about with the weather. And Kate Bush, because she wanted to mess about with the weather as well, didn't she? And I think we've got to hold out against that. Nature has to be left alone to do its own thing. If we start messing with it, it will just kick back. And once you start messing with it, and once nature and the weather starts rebelling, it won't stop, will it? Because once you start a process in weather, it doesn't stop. The process doesn't stop just because you've decided to stop. Once you've started that process, it will just go on to its natural conclusion. So we really do need to leave well alone. Let nature do its own thing. Let the weather do its own thing. Wherever you live, you will have different weather than me. And I think it's accept it. If you're not happy with it, move somewhere where there's the weather that you like, the weather that's more suited to you, your activities, your family, your job, your way of life. Don't look back in anger in 50 years and say, oh, all this time I spent here baking, or freezing, or wet, or dry, and I wanted something else for me and my family. Don't look back. Do something about it. Move. Yeah, I know it's impractical just to say move. That's not as it's not as easy as that, is it? We kind of have to adapt, make the most. I think a lot of us go through life putting up with things, don't we? We do. And in fact, not a lot of us, all of us, to some extent, go through life putting up with things and saying, it'll do, I'll put up with this, I'm not happy, but... And in a way, that's fine, that's what we have to do, and that's what we have to live. It's a compromise. Living with nature, living with the elements is always going to be a compromise, because it's never going to be perfect for what you want. Even if you live in an idyllic paradise where the sun shines every day, there's always the chance that there's going to be some kind of a storm, some kind of a tsunami, some kind of an earthquake, something going on, some angry tectonic plates taking your future into its own hands. Look at this. On a little bridge over the top of a stream. The water's just babbling along. It's beautiful. This is enough for me. This is what I want. May not be what everyone wants, but it's what I want. Little bridge over a stream in a woodland with nobody else around apart from my little dog, making our way round on a fine mild autumn morning, looking forward to a cup of tea when we get home. It's going to get a lot colder and a lot wetter and a lot windier over the next few months. But the only entity that should dictate that is nature. Is Mother Nature. Not us, not a group of us little ants thinking we're bigger than nature. Leave it up to nature. We'll adapt. We'll put another coat on. We'll shed a layer. We'll drink a bit more. We'll stand in the shade. We'll lie in the sun. We'll walk under an umbrella. We'll bend ourselves into the wind. And that's our part. That's what we do. That's our responsibility. That is our role in the scheme of things. Our role in the scheme of things is to adapt to nature, not to try to make nature adapt to us. If you've liked our little chit chat this morning, please consider subscribing and smashing the like button. It really does help the algorithm for us, get us out there. And if you are interested in a bit more content, we've always got our Patreon for a very tiny sum. And if you want to support us, you can always buy us a coffee. And as always, have a nice day, have a nice week, have a nice life. And we shall see you on the flip. Peace and love.